Hi guys, you're welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabangu, and thank you to the returning subscribers. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share and comment, and voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful and the wonderful family. We are back with another Employment Wednesday episode, and today we're talking about some magic tips to actually help you win your interviews, to actually help you pass your interviews, to actually help you become more confident when you are being interviewed. So without wasting any much of your time, let's go into it. Rule number one, you have to know your interviewers. Okay, before we even get to the interviews, right, you get an email from maybe the HR people. They tell you, hey, congratulations, I'd like to schedule an interview for such a day. Are you available? Should they ask you about your availability, think about it and then respond and let them know whether or not you're available. If you're not available, propose a certain time where you know you're going to be available. But I always say grab the opportunity because you don't know how many people have been given that particular opportunity. So if you can, just say, okay, I'm available, respond, and be thankful and grateful for the opportunity, right? You have that out of the way. Now you know the company that is requesting for an interview, right? Like I like using the company I work for. Let's say you get an email from Rams Attorneys, they tell you they'd like to interview you, right? Then we've got a website. The good thing is the website makes everything so much easier for you, right? Number one, the website has all the team members, right? It has everyone that works at Rams Attorneys. So you get to see the faces before you actually meet them. I love that. It makes me less anxious and less in doubt. It makes me more comfortable when I've seen the faces before. So when you go to the website, you see the faces. There's actually photos of us, right? And then more than just photos, there's actually the department where we work in, right? So you would see that I'm in the corporate commercial department. You would see the people in the litigation department. Then you would see directors and partners of that particular department. And then you would see our vision, our mission, you know, that type of stuff, and also the departments or the areas of law we actually expertise in. So basically our website gives you an idea of what you're getting yourself into. Then you actually get to decide the type of culture we may have, because it gives you like a brief analogy of our culture, looking at the people's experiences, looking at the vision, looking at the mission, right? Now that you've entered the website and you found out what you're looking at, right? It's important that you keep all of those faces in mind. And I don't want to say memorize the names, but know the names of the people so that when you walk into the interview and you recognize one of them, you actually say, good afternoon, Miss Yvonne Shabangu, you know? So, and then there's that, right? Now that you know the company, know the interviewers, right? Normally in corporate companies, you would be interviewed by your prospective supervisor and the HR person, also depending on the number of interviews that you have. If it's just a one interview company, then like you're likely to be interviewed by like at least 4-5 people, and then all of those people will be people that you're likely to report to, and also the HR person will definitely be part of those people, or the talent specialist, recruiter, and all of those kind of things, right? So now you would know who's interviewing you from the email. Usually when they send you that can we get an interview with you, they usually CC the person people who are going to be part of the interview in that very same email, right? So what you then do, LinkedIn is supposed to be your friend, right? You go on LinkedIn, you look for those people by name and surname. Now that you found those people, look at what they've studied, what they've done, the articles that they've done, so that also if you get to the interview, you're able to sort of create conversation, because sometimes small talk, I know small talk is daunting for me. If I generally have nothing to say, I don't say anything, right? But if I'm familiar with the work you've done or what you've been up to, I'm able to engage in conversation, be like, oh, I read an article you did, it was impressive, or this is what I think, and just to break the ice, right? So now you're familiar with the company that's hiring, you're familiar with your interviewers. Now your anxiety has gone from 100 to 0. Now we're working on you. Guys, you have all of that out of the way. It's very important that you arrive at the interview at least between 15 to 30 minutes early. And this is for your own good. It's not even just about impressing them, right? I know when I'm late for a meeting or a specific important event, right? it's so hard for me to follow. Like, I just become anxious and all over the place. I become in doubt. I become uncomfortable. But if I get to an environment or get to a place 30 minutes earlier, I make myself tea. If it's offered, I actually get to relax. I get to calm down, right? And you actually get to conversate with people before the interview, because sometimes you may find that you're seated by the reception area or in the boardroom before the meeting, and then they come in to check up on you, and then you're able to create that icebreaker type of conversation, right? So be on time, the 15 to 20 minutes early, right? Please. And secondly, dress professionally, guys. When I'm dressed good, I feel good. I think a lot of people will tell you this. Like, if you invite me anyway, even now, you can see I'm glowing, my hair's on flick, everything is good. And you can tell by my facial expressions that I'm actually happy. I'm not sure how my day is going to look like. I didn't have the best of days yesterday, but I couldn't be bothered because I'm dressed professionally and I look good. I feel good. I smell good. So make sure that you're dressed professionally and make sure that you look good and just look presentable. You know, be neat and presentable. You know, like, be in a position whereby a person is seated there, they want to listen to you more, they want to spend more time with you. But if you are not dressed appropriately, or if you're not presentable, you're untidy and all of those things, people are just like, when is she leaving? You know, she has to go now, right? And then let me just refer, I made a little bit of notes. I just want to look out for more tips, right? Secondly, it's very important that you bring in a handshake. I know it can be a little bit awkward, especially for us millennials, but I mean, guys, a handshake is very important. Just bring in your hand. My name is Yvonne, Princess Shabangu. It's as simple as that, right? And do not sit before you're told to sit down, you know. And yeah, I know we're always tempted to sit down, but wait until you're told to actually sit down. And then when you're told to sit down, you sit down, because also it shows that you have good manners. It's very important to read the room and read the space. And actually, sometimes there's certain questions that people would never ask us, right? To actually know who we are. They actually look at how we carry ourselves, the little things we do, how we respond to stuff. That's when they decide who we are. So it's not always A, B, C, D to say, oh, you know what, they're going to ask me if I have good manners. They see if you have good manners when you introduce yourself appropriately, when you wait to be told to sit down, when you are thankful for the opportunity. You know, that's when they see those kind of small things that they won't be able to ask you about. And then like I said, it's very important to thank them for the opportunity. So they're likely to ask you to tell us about yourself. That question is a very common question, and it's a trick question. It's a make or break question. It's very simple yet also tricky, because you may find yourself rambling around. I remember one of my first interviews. Tell me about yourself. I would include my family structure. I'm from here. I have 7 siblings, I have this, I have that. And I realized, no, that's not what tell me about yourself is all about in a professional interview. Basically, when they say tell me about yourself, they're giving you an opportunity to talk about your skills, to talk about your qualifications, to talk about your experiences, you know. And also, it's very important to not just say I like, for instance, they may ask you why you want the job. Also, another reason they ask you to tell them about yourself, they want to see if or not you're fit for the role, and also if they can hire you, right? So that's your opportunity to actually tell them that I have a qualification in banking law. I obtained this qualification at the University of Johannesburg, and during my master's degree, I learned a lot of things, such as the spirit of resilience. I didn't have funding, but I had to keep on applying for bursaries. I learned I improved my research skills through my dissertation. I improved my communication skills because I was forced to constantly communicate with my supervisor, and I was forced to actually present my dissertation to a number of people. And I learned to be patient, and I learned to accept different perspectives, and I learned to accept constructive criticism. You mentioned specific skills, but obviously keep them limited. I'm just giving examples so that you have more things that you can think about, right? Keep them very specific, and maybe have your top 3. If there's top 3 things that doing my master's degree taught me: research skills on par, resilience on par, and patience with self, on par. Those are the most three things I learned during my dissertation. And then you can mention that you have an LLB, like just start from your undergrad to your postgrad and other degrees that you may have. And if you've done your short courses, mention that you have done specific short courses, and this is what those short courses have done for you. Mention them by name. If you've done a digital marketing short course, mention it, and mention the specific skill that it has taught you, right? Because they may not ask you about your skills particularly. So that's your chance to actually talk about your education, your qualifications, your skills, your experiences, and your qualities as a person, and your characteristics, right? And also be mindful when you talk about your qualities as a person, right? Because you have to talk about your qualities, characteristics that make you Yvonne compared to any other candidate, right? And then again, you have to talk about your qualities as a professional. How's your work ethic, your time management skills? Are you kind? Are you respectful? Are you a curious person? Are you a good researcher? All of those kind of things are things that you need to have in consideration, right? And then, yes, prepare for the question. Tell me about yourself, guys. You are not doing yourself any justice if you're going to walk into the room and you're not able to answer the question. If it means looking at yourself in the mirror and actually telling yourself about yourself, do that, because that's a very common question. Like, it's an icebreaker question. You are likely to get that question. So talk about yourself. And like I said earlier on, it's important that you understand, tell me about yourself. It's not just about your daily social life. It's more about link yourself to the role, the person that you are. How can you actually carry out this role? Are you able to carry out this role? Can you do better? All of the type of stuff, right? And then another question that they may ask you is, tell us why you want the job. I have tackled that question. I'll try and link the video. It's very important that you understand why you want the job. Half the time we want the job because of the money, but that's not it. There's more to us working than just the money. So you can talk about the fact that your career goals, it's linked to your career goals, it's linked to your self-development, the things that you want to achieve through actually getting this role. Do you want to become director? If you want to become director, mention that you want to become director. Mention that you want to grow in this space. Mention what you want to do with this role, what it can do for you, and also what hiring you can do for the company. Don't ever forget to sell yourself. Be the center of attraction, right? And then last but not least, ask questions, guys. I talk too much, right? I talk too much, but I know sometimes when you sit in an interview, your mouth becomes dry, your brain freezes. So don't forget to stay hydrated. Drink your water. Make sure that you're hydrated, and make sure that you're calm, and make sure that you you speak not too fast, not too slow. If you don't understand a question, ask them to repeat the question. They're always willing to repeat the question, right? Like I said, last but not least, it's very important to ask questions, guys. Ask. Once the interview is concluded, they're going to say, do you have any question? Even if they don't say, do you have any question, find a strategic and a smart way to actually throw in a question. At least top 3 questions. Number one of the questions that you can ask, if you're being interviewed by a director and you're interested in being a director, ask them, what does it take for me to actually become a director in a company like Rams Attorneys? They will tell you it's work ethic, it's meeting targets, it's being resilient, it's following the vision and the mission and expanding and all of those things, right? And then also you can ask, what are the prospects of a person making it to a managerial position as part of this role? You can ask how long it takes to be promoted. You can ask how the company has contributed, or how the company is taking on the fact that we're going into 4IR. So you can look at that type of stuff. So right now everything is going digital. You can ask them if they work remotely, if they've considered working remotely, and you can ask them what are the benefits of working for the company, and you can ask them about, you've done your research, you now know the vision or the mission. and then you can ask them why a specific value, why is this value so important to the company that it has to be part of the company. But do not leave that interview room without asking questions, because that's another way of redeeming yourself, because we know interviews go south, people become anxious and all of those things. So asking questions is a way to redeem yourself, right? And without wasting any of your time, do not forget to be loved, do not forget to be kindness, do not forget to share job opportunities, do not forget to pray for one another. If anything I'm doing this particular week is praying for you. If you have a job interview and you're anxious and you're in doubt, I want you to remember that there's a reason why you got that job interview, and I want you to remember that you are deserving. You deserve that opportunity, and I want you to remember that even if it doesn't come out the way you would like, there will still be more opportunities. And always remember, when it rains, it pours. Once you get one interview, once you get that interview, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. More interviews start coming in, things start opening up, okay? So do not lose hope, stay hopeful. God loves you so much. Be the love, be the light, and be the kindness that you need in your life. God bless you. Happy Employment Wednesday.